Welcome to the plantar fascia series. In this series, we talk about how to reduce the pain of the plantar fascia. If you're suffering plantar fascia, or you know someone who is suffering and you would like to help, this series may be very helpful. And this series is based on my own personal experience of years of dealing with plantar fascia. So we talked about the ground. And we talked that the best ground for walking is the soft and gentle ground, like green grass, mud, a bit of mud, and sand, different kind of sand, soft or a bit movable sand. If there are stones, are still much better than paved ground that you find in the street, or wood, very hard wood ground. And for the indoor, we talked about any kind of carpet that you may find and make it soft. Next element of plantar fascia that may really affect our experience are the shoes. So shoes are supposed to use for protecting the foot from injury of external objects. And how we use that is very important because it plays a role. So if the surface is clean and there are no objects and we don't find any threat to our foot, the best is to go barefoot. So barefoot means we put on nothing. So we just go natural. So if you are in the sand, if you are in the grass, natural way is the way to go. And it's the same for indoor. So any kind of shoes that is advertised is really not the way to go because that's not the nature of the nature and mechanic of the body. So my experience is, and experience of the people I know in running and walking, based on their own feeling and experience, is that the barefoot gives more comfort to both body and psychology, and also gradually strengthens the fascia and the texture and the skin under the foot. So gradually the foot gets stronger and stronger. So if you're on a barefoot journey, the minimum is that your foot is getting stronger. You are exploring a new dimension. So the first thing is to see if we are able to go barefoot. So even when we use shoes, it's nice to switch between barefoot and shoes. So if you are walking in any place, if there is possibility even to walk like 20 meters barefoot, try it. If there is 50 meters of grass or sand or a bit of mud in your neighborhood, and you may go in shoes or barefoot, try at least to switch and see if you can day by day go more barefoot, or at least have a connection to barefoot. That let the foot indeed experience and explore and get strength by being exposed to this situation. Again, if it's a paved or very hard surface, it's difficult for foot, but still just having some time outside the shoes is one thing. So then it comes to shoes. If you are going to use shoes, what shoes we use? The experience says the minimalistic shoes is the best. The minimalistic, but still bringing the element of softness. So bringing element of softness that we were searching for in the ground outside. This time, if the ground is not soft, we try to bring this element of softness to the inner shoes, so inside the shoes. So the best thing for the shoes so far I've found, maybe in future we find new things, we hear new things, but so far it's the shoes that is minimalistic. These days talk about barefoot shoes. My experience with barefoot shoes is okay, but because of the desire to be more creative and have a control on the shoes, I've tried different shoes that exist outside, and then tried different of them, and found one really cheap, for example. And I will put the picture, and then try to see what kind of insoles can be useful. So, because my foot is diagnosed as flat foot, and my legs are, one of them is a bit longer than the other one. Over the years, I've visited so many orthopedics and osteopaths and normal doctors to understand the mechanic of the foot, and we use so many type of technology to create insoles. However, the best insole so far I've found is just something soft that I put, and that so far, if I'm going to use shoes, is something that at least doesn't make the plantar fascia worse. So we can keep the control of the shoes by choosing a minimalistic shoes. That first is important, not to be hard. So the shoes should keep the shape of the foot. So it should be elastic when we are walking. The shoes should go with the foot. So it should not be like very very hard, so it doesn't bend. It should bend. It should be bent as much as possible, that our foot bends. So at least the front should be really bendable. So the material that is used under the foot, under the shoes, should be really bendable. Try it to see how much is bending. And the shoes that are very difficult to bend, it's rather to avoid them, because then they are actually again the hard ground that the plantar fascia will be more challenged. So shoes, the cheapest maybe, and more available everywhere, so the easy solution. And also it should not be very tight, so when we walk the foot has the space to just do its own natural way. And for insoles, I've tried so many insoles, and so far what I've been using are some simple insoles that I put on the shoes. As much as I feel finally I have no pain, or really try to minimize the pain. So the shoes sometimes need to be a bit bigger, such that the the more insoles can be placed there. So you can use any kind of material, from memory foam that is synthesized. You may even find a yoga mat and cut it if the yoga mat is elastic. So it's just elasticity is helpful. Or if you're creative with nature material, even much better, because the food and nature material are much more comfortable. So you can explore what you want to put as the insoles. So far I've been using I've been cutting part of yoga mat because they are so big, and you can also choose which yoga mat is helping you better. So, and also sometimes there are memory foam insoles, and these memory foam insoles also sometimes I use them one yoga mat underneath and then one memory foam on top. But I believe that it's possible to play around, and I'm also very open to play with them.